Today we have a very interesting young woman who's done amazing things. Recently, she was featured on CNN African's Voices as one of the celebrity stylists who has styled some of your favorite celebrities. She is a designer, an award-winning one at that, nominated for several awards, and has a lot to her name as well. Her name is Jane Michael Ekanem. We have the face behind the Jane Michael brand with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Jane.
Thank you so much for having me.
A beautiful face.
Very beautiful.
And I love your smile.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
you've been told this many times. Very wide and beautiful smile.
Thank
love
you
it.
so
Very
much.
lovely.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
When everybody sees you now, and you know the glam, you have fine hair, fine outfits, it just looks like you
Like I
slid
woke up
into
like
this,
this.
like woke up like this. You don't go through any stress, Jane. Was the industry as easy as you make it seem right now?
Not was. Is the industry. Because I'm still in the
Yes,
industry.
okay, true. What's getting into in the industry, I meant.
It's not easy. It hasn't been easy, and it's still not easy. You don't want to know what I'm going through or what I've been through, to get to where I am. But I think that that's part of life. You can't have a testimony without the test of time.
That's true.
So you need to go through the process.
Well done. So start telling us your testimony. The test of time, where you all started from, your struggles, your challenges. But very importantly, how you got into the fashion industry.
Okay, so I'm not going to let the cat totally out of the bag because I have a book that is coming up in April.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be
is that
launching
for your
my book.
birthday?
Yeah, I'll be launching my
Nice.
book. I'm done with that. So you can read about it and, learn from it. So basically, I started off, into the designing industry from what I would say passion. So I used to do it for free, selling clothes for free. No, not selling for free. But when I sold, then I used to hawk, like carry clothes in a bag from offices to offices. Yeah. And then when I sell the clothes to them, I'll teach them how to wear it. So I didn't know that that was styling then. But this is me now monetizing my passion. Now I'm doing it as, what I do for a living.
Yes.
So that's it. Yeah.
So make money. You're now making money from
I'm
your
now
passion.
making money from my passion.
Did anybody advise you then to switch it into a money-making venture, or on your own? Did you just decide, you know what, I'm tired of doing this for free, I can actually make money from it?
No. Back in the days, I had a partner. His name is Jiku. So yeah, we thought about it together. I think we should do this. But I think what really motivated us to do that was that we were the stylist for the MTN Project Fame. Yeah, and that was our first job as a stylist. You see,
So that was the next question I was going to ask you. That how did you translate from hawking clothes and styling regular people, in quote, to the celebrity world? I mean, all of a sudden on Instagram, in magazines, on Bella Nigeria, would see stuff like Jane Michael Ekanem. Like, who is this Jane Michael Ekanem? How did you get into that very competitive world of Nollywood and the entertainment industry in Nigeria?
Okay, so it started at the time, fortunately for me, at the time I started styling, we could barely count 10 stylists to our fingers. And most of the stylists, I'm sorry, I love you, but the time we had those, we were hungry. So we were willing to work. Where you have a stylist who is being a diva, speaking sprung, we were just ready to do the work, man. Like, wherever the job is, we were ready to go. I can't count the number of times I sat on Okada with a box on my head, literally. Like back in the days before they had banned bikes, I would stop a bike, I would give the bike my box, my accessory box, and then I would carry a Ghana must go on my head. Sometimes when one hand is paining me, I'll use one hand to hold the fairings of the bike and switch. We've gone through Third Mainland Bridge everywhere on bikes with our things. How many people are willing to do that? So
my eyes are open.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, and that was before I even had a car. So then it wasn't about this life. We were about, we need to make money. And then in the process of making money and, people have seen, oh, you guys are doing so well. Interviews started popping up, I'm here today because of the things I've done. And trust me, it's like I've had many times where I want to give up because things are not particularly working out the way I want them to. But hey, I'm here.
I actually like that you just mentioned that, because I've also experienced similar things myself. There are times when we want to give up, but people don't see that part. They see the glam, they see the pictures on Instagram, they see the celebrities you're hanging out with, and they don't understand that there are challenges. So can you remember off the top of your head one of the most difficult challenges you had to go through as a stylist? Maybe it could be with dealing with a difficult client, or not meeting up a deadline, and how you were able to get through that.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened is, this even happened so recently. Like, it's amazing that this question is coming up, because people think that it never goes wrong, or you've had so much experience to never do wrong. I had a job in this month where it was so bad, and I had to refund the money regardless of all the expenses that had been made. And this has never, ever happened to me in my 10 years of styling.
Did you cry?
Yes. Yes. So after putting so much effort, so much money, I'm asked to, like, Jane, you have to refund our money. This is not working.
Oh my days. Yeah. Now, you talk about 10 years. That's amazing. 10 years in the industry. You've had your ups and downs. But how have you managed when you've had crisis situations like this? So tell us a situation, if you have any, that went bad, but then, you know, with your skills as a manager, because you have to be a manager, you found a way to get back and then, you know, impress your client.
Okay, so the first thing that happened is, I'm telling you how it happened to me.
Yes.
I don't know how it's going to happen to the next person. When it happened to me, it was suicidal. I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I have bills to pay. I have things to do with money, and I've spent a lot of money, including the interest on doing this job to get this job right. And then the next thing, I now have to go start looking for money to it wasn't small money, it was a lot of money. A lot of money. And the company trusted me. So that's why they paid me in full, right? So when this happened, when this incident happened, the first thing I did was to call my production manager. Like, I think we have to close. Like, this, jokes apart now, we have to close up. And she ran down to me. Before she got to me, it was really bad. So I called T.Y. Bello to tell her, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I know that I just have to speak to someone. So yes, when you're feeling depressed, if you can be courageous enough to speak to someone about it, it would go a long way. So T.Y. Bello called me over, and we had a very good prayer session. She gave me some things to read. And one of the things, I'm not trying to sound spiritual, you know, I'm a very all-rounder kind, I'm very liberal, but I believe in God as well. So she gave me Joseph Prince. See tears in your eyes. She told me to read about Joseph Prince. And Joseph Prince, you know, the first thing I read about Joseph Prince, they didn't talk about, you know, me loving Jesus. It was Jesus loving me. And, you know, that's the kind of Christian I'd always been. I've never been the type to say, oh, I love Jesus, I love Jesus. I'd always believed that Jesus loves me so much to want to put me through pressure. Yeah? And so when I read that, I connected immediately. Right? And I always, from then, I've been reading Joseph Prince. Yeah? So that was how I'd had to remind myself of God's love. God, you love me so much for me to go through this. You want me to have a testimony. You want, you know, I just had to talk to myself about it. And if you follow me on Instagram and you read my stories, most times people send me, there's never a day that I don't get DMs saying, Jane, it feels like you're talking to me. But people don't know that I am actually speaking to myself openly. So those times when I say, don't give up, you know, you're bound to make mistakes. You know, mistakes are part of, you know, people say mistakes don't define you, but I feel that mistakes define you. Yeah. Because when you make your mistakes, you learn how not to do what you did.
And or you learn in many times of our mistakes and how we overcame those mistakes. Yes. And that's what I was asking you about, how you overcame some of the challenges.
Yes.
So how did that turn out in the end?
Yeah. So I'm still fighting it, but it's a whole lot better.
Good.
I mean, look at you. So good.
You don't look like anything you're going through.
I know.
Well done.
I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I lose a lot of weight, and then people tell me, oh, Jane, you're so fit. You know, they don't know that sometimes it's based on the fact that your mind is so clouded that you can't even think of food at that time. And, you know, but regardless of it all, what I always say to God is, He's not done with me yet. That's why I'm still alive.
I was very certain that He's not done with you, Jane. Thank you for being so honest and being so open, you know, about all that you've been through. So now, the Jane Michael brand, you've won awards. You've been nominated for awards. And what's the plan? Where do you see the brand?
To be very honest, I can't speak for the future, but I've always wanted to live a life. You have to read the book. I'd never wanted to be, oh, I am just Jane Michael. I'd always wanted to leave an impact in everything and everywhere I go, everything I do, you know. So basically, everything I've been doing has been evolved around creating. So I create a lot of content, from revamp your style to a lot, to School of Styling. You know, I have a registered school that teaches people how to style. I have I have a foundation. So even in how things are so difficult and uneasy, every now and then I find myself helping one girl or the other through school. You know, they don't have money for JAM form and all of that. So good that the Lagos State government recognized me and sent a letter to me. Yeah. So every now and then I create stuff. You know, what's next to do? Something has to be done. Yeah. I don't just want you to go through. I don't want to be one of those slay queens, you know. I want to look good, but at the same time, I want people to say, oh, Jane, because of you, I was able to do this, you know. So
beautiful. So your beauty is not just skin deep. Now, talking about beauty, skin deep, before you came on, we showed a video about women going out without makeup. Yeah. I know that the fashion industry can be very vain.
Yes.
How do you deal with it? Because some people then cannot, their self-esteem is defined by how they look.
Okay.
So what do you have? Because you sound like a strong woman who knows who she is. Take off strip off all your makeup and your outfit. Yes. You still remain Jane Michael Ekanem. Yeah. How do you then pass on that message to people who unfortunately find their identity in their looks?
How do you deal with such people? It's like saying that, how do you deal with people who smoke? So there are some certain things that are like addiction, you know, they can't do without. They have idolized. So for me, it's going back to being spiritual. First, you have to pray about it. Because I feel that nothing happens without talking to God or talking to whatever you believe in. So if you believe in Shango, talk to your Shango, right? I think it's Shango. That's what it's called, right? So whatever you believe in, you can talk to that thing and try to win yourself. Now you also have to come back to your personal self and win yourself out of it. You know, I feel that we all have our demons. You know, as long as your demon is not hurting the next person, I don't have a problem with that. You know, but me personally, I don't really believe in applying makeup so often and all of that. But if that's what it is, I don't even know how to answer.
It's just that the problem is that sometimes it can get so, people can idolize it so much that the self-esteem is strongly tied to the makeup. And because of how vain our industry is, you feel like, oh, you're not looking good enough. Look at the backlash of Alicia Keys when she goes on the red carpet. She looks stunning, but people are like, I beg, this is not what we want. We want to see you as a slay queen.
I think it's a psychological thing. So it's something that you would have to train yourself. You know, you'd have to teach yourself out of it.
All right. Now, away from makeup, let's talk about lessons learned. You said your mistakes actually define you. For someone who is looking towards going into the fashion industry, fashion and styling, which is a very thriving industry right now, because it's like we go to every corner, there's a fashion stylist right now. Everybody wants to be a stylist.
As long as you can put shirts and jeans on together,
exactly, you're a stylist. Yeah. Exactly. So can you share with us one or two of some of the mistakes you learned in the process of styling? We know that there'll be more to see in your book, which we look forward to reading. But what in the process of your journey, what is one mistake you've learned that you'd like to share to an upcoming fashion designer or stylist so that they learn not to make the same mistake? They say a wise person learns from the mistake of others. You don't have to make your own mistakes for some, you know. So
I think that what I learned in my journey is being communicating more with my clients. Communication is key. So whatever the case is, you'd have to communicate with your clients. If you're not able to do what it is, you'd have to tell them. You need to ask questions. You need to know their preferential colors. You know, you need to know what they're not comfortable about. Some people are not comfortable showing their arms, so you know that you can't bring things that are sleeveless, you know, on set. So yeah, so
ask questions.
Communication is key. That's one thing I learned, you know. And when you switch up on them, when you change, you flip the script on them, you need to tell them, because it's going to be a disaster on set. You know.
I can imagine. Now, before we let you go, what's the future for Jane Michael Ekanem? 10 years in the industry, are you planning anything grand for your 10-year anniversary? Or, I mean, obviously you have a book.
You have a book, which is brilliant.
What should we expect from Jane Michael Ekanem in the nearest future?
To be very honest, whenever I'm asked this question, I don't have an answer, because first, I think everything is into God's hands. If I was asked this question 10 years ago, I wouldn't know that I would be here. So, and you know how we plan things, and then at the end of the day, God just does what he needs to do. I think I just want to make money. So I might just be bored of styling and just delve into something that just generates money for me.
I like your honesty, my sister.
So to be very honest, 10 years from now, I want to see myself retiring, you know, from the regular day-to-day hustle and make better money, bigger cash.
And we hope that you actually make that better money and bigger cash, because we know that it will not only impact you, but impact those around you with what you're doing with your young girls. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, then. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Jane Michael Ekanem, the face and the stylist and designer and the person behind the brand, the Jane Michael brand. You can follow her on Instagram at Jane Michael Ekanem to find out what she's up to. Visit her website. She has a fashion school. And we keep our fingers crossed for her book. We look forward to seeing what she has in store for us.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.